Yes. Welcome back to another stream. Wolves 2, Manchester City 1. We take our first loss in the Premier League this season, and there's quite a bit to talk about. But off the bat, man, so poor. So poor today. There's obviously lots of variables and reasonings behind it. I'm going to get into all that, but I want to make it clear that I just thought today was so poor from Manchester City. I didn't make the title. Our shots were soft. There's so many things to get into. So many things went wrong. Rodri, red card. Yeah, we'll get into Rodri. Chance creation, the defense. I thought Ake. These are just some of the things that led to a really poor performance. You know, you can talk about the Rodri red card. You can talk about De Bruyne injury, Bernardo and Stones, but the fact of the matter is, the team we put out to the pitch today was capable of winning that game. Wolves were playing at a higher intensity than us. Wolves were simply playing at a higher intensity than us. They were perfectly happy to let us dictate the flow of the play for the most part. And then when they got the ball, they pounced. That Pedro Neto, he put the fear of God into Nathan Ake. Every time he went down that right wing, Ake, Foden, whoever, looked really uncomfortable. And that's where the first goal came from. I don't put the blame on Ruben Diaz for that first goal. I really don't. Because as a centre half, running back to your own goal, it's always a big risk. When he has to make that defensive run back, it's always a big risk. Foden decides to give up on challenging Pedro Neto, and Nathan Ake can't handle him. So Pedro Neto essentially makes a whole half run into our box, smashes it across, and I don't put the blame on Diaz for that. I really don't. You can't blame Diaz. I thought Ake just simply couldn't deal with Neto. Now, Neto really is a good player. He's a top player. He's had a fantastic season so far, but I expected slightly better from Nathan Ake. And then for our goal, of course, a fantastic free kick from Julian Alvarez, but that's all we got today. We created almost nothing. Absolutely nothing. When you have a striker as good as Erling Haaland is, you have to give him chance creation. Erling Haaland was almost non-existent today. Non-existent, because midfielders weren't getting on the ball. Phil Foden simply wasn't getting on the ball enough today. Foden was anonymous. Alvarez was practically anonymous bar his free kick, and Haaland was anonymous. Our three possibly most threatening and creative and damaging players were all totally anonymous today. Kovacic was selected to play as the number 6 today ahead of Rodri, and we'll talk about Rodri in a sec. It didn't work. He wasn't good enough. He was wasteful in possession, if you ask me, Mateo Kovacic. It's quite clear we had two plans in that first half. We had two plans, neither of which worked. The first plan was Mateo Kovacic would pick the ball up from deep and try play a direct pass through to Erling Haaland, which was going nowhere. They were being cut out and intercepted by Wolves defenders with quite ease, if we're being totally honest. So that wasn't working. Mateo Kovacic eliminated. He didn't have much more than that. Second plan, get it to Jeremy Doku, and let's see, can he do something on his own? Nope. They double up on him. He couldn't do much on his own. He was threatening, but you can't expect Jeremy Doku, when he's being doubled up and tripled up on, to just create things out of nowhere. You can't, especially someone who's as new to the team as him, someone as new to the league as him. You can't just expect him to magic things up on his own. So with all that bearing in mind, Haaland's not going to get service. Haaland got absolutely no service because no creativity. We're knocking the ball around wastefully at times too. Creating virtually nothing. I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. We had 69% possession. What did we do with that? 88% pass accuracy. Fine. We had 23 shots, 8 on target. I just think it was poor. Really poor. The two players that would have, 3 players, I'll talk to you now in a sec. About the 3 players. By the way, please, there's nearly 300 in the building. If you do me a massive favor, smash a like on this, subscribe if you're new around here, and get all your thoughts in. Member chat here from Harley. We had 6 attackers on the last 15 and still couldn't create a chance. If you have to watch a game to see how important Rodri and De Bruyne are, that is it. Now listen, where I stand with the Rodri thing is, it's chalk and cheese. It's night and day as to how well our team plays with and without Rodri. But it's quite worrying to know how poor we are when we don't have Rodri. I'm in isolation. I'm willing to take his sending on the chin on the basis that Rodri has been so consistent for 2 years, so good for us for 2 years, that one moment of madness, he gets sent off. For him, fine, I get it. But quite clearly, it's detrimental to the team. Calvin Phillips couldn't start the game because Pep doesn't trust him. Mateo Kovacic wasn't good enough. Mateo Kovacic cannot dictate the flow of the game. Our overall flow and intensity and direction was totally off because Rodri controls that so perfectly. Kovacic couldn't do that. Foden had no link up with Kovacic. It was just a frustrating watch. You know, at the back end of last season, when you're watching games, even if we're losing or we're not playing particularly well, you still always have a sense a goal is going to come. You still always feel like, yeah, we're going to get a chance. We're going to make a chance. I didn't feel like that today, chat. I didn't feel like we were going to create much today. I was watching it, I was going, no, I don't feel it. I don't feel it today. I really didn't feel it today. Yeah, the defense for the second goal for Hwang. Hwang shouldn't have been on the pitch in the second half. The refereeing today was absolutely abysmal. The ref lost control of that game. He allowed the fact that the Molyneux crowd were getting on top of the players, particularly Mateus Nunes, to get in his head. The ref had no control of that game. Hwang should have been sent off in the first half. I'll die on that hill. Anyway, he gets the second goal. The whole back four, Calvin Phillips, all caught sleeping. All caught sleeping. There's more City players than there are Wolves players in that box. And none of them thought to close down Hwang. None of them did. None of them did. Listen, I'm not here to say, oh, City are crap. We're a brutal team. I'm not doing any of that. I'm talking about today's performance in isolation was brutal. It was. We rode our luck at times this season, you know, poor first halves, and then we come out and play better in the second half. But there was always going to come a day where you have a poor first half and you can't get to that big level in the second half. And that's exactly what happened today. The fact of the matter is we did not deserve anything from that game. Wolves had a game plan and they executed it perfectly. They were at a much higher intensity than us today, chat. I'm talking about the ref because the ref was crap. I've just said we didn't deserve anything, but the ref was crap. He was. And I'll die on that hill. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. You see, like, I don't know, is it a realization that we need a better backup for Rodri? The Stones play as a backup for Rodri, missing De Bruyne massively. I mean, we've been praising Julian Alvarez, rightly so, all along this season. But you can't expect a number 9 who's now playing as a number 8/10 to every week deliver creativity. He's not Kevin De Bruyne. It's frustrating, man. Today was a frustrating watch. And I felt for Erling Haaland because he was given nothing, absolutely no service. Even the crossing was poor. The set pieces I didn't feel confident about. Too many injuries have hurt us. I know the injuries, but like the fact of the matter is I thought today on paper we were a stronger team than Wolves. I really did. But I have to give credit to Wolves. They played their game plan and it worked. They got their result. We've just given Wolves their second win of the season. It's disappointing, man. And like that's 2 losses this week now. You know, we lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. I came on, I said I don't think we were too bothered about that. I am bothered about losing to Wolves. I want to win every game. I'm not throwing a tantrum. I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram. I'm not sulking. I'm just saying today's 90 minutes was really poor. It was. There was no fluidity. Wolves locked down any sign of threat that we had. Like those two avenues I'm talking about, Doku and the pass from Kovacic, or that lane that Kovacic was trying to execute through every time. They locked that down with ease, and we didn't know what to do after that. There was no plan C or like, right, we'll try something different. On the bench, there weren't many options. Oscar Bob came on. I thought Oscar Bob was good. I thought he was elegant. I thought his passing was good. He was trying to get stuck in, but you can't expect Oscar Bob, a really inexperienced player, to come onto the pitch and change the whole game. Jack Grealish, was he ever going to come on and offer us much other than pick up a few fouls and a few free kicks for us? I don't know. Still, I'm not saying nothing's done. The Premier League is not won and lost today. We've not lost anything today. Trust me. I still fully back us to go and win this Premier League. I do, especially when players come back from injury. But today was painful to watch. Calvin Phillips came on, and he just looks slow. He just looks slow and lethargic. You know, I maybe underestimated how important or how detrimental it would be not having Rodri around. And I mean, I need to ask you guys, there's nearly 400 in the building. Does today make you nervous about going to the Emirates next week? John Stones, in my opinion, won't be fit. He's training on his own right now. Would you throw John Stones starting in the Emirates? De Bruyne is not there. Rodri suspended. Bernardo, I don't even know. How do you feel about going to the Emirates now? We've got to go to Leipzig as well. I knew watching Wolves against Liverpool. I know their record this season isn't great, but I knew watching them against Liverpool that they could cause problems if you're not defensively sound. And we weren't defensively sound for the 2 goals. Nathan Ake, like I said, I hate to say that he... The hell happened there? The stream just cut out for me. Can you hear me, yeah? Let me know if you can see and hear me, please. It just cut out there for me for a second. I don't know what happened. Can you see and hear me, yeah? Yeah, you should be able to see and hear me now. Yeah, look, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You know what? Like I said, it is frustrating to see what happened today. And it's still early doors, and there's always going to be hiccups. Like, the idea of going invincible was just totally unrealistic. Not that I ever said it was going to happen, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe this is what we needed. Maybe this is what we needed. A bit of a kick up the arse before we go to an even tougher venue next week. Arsenal, last time I checked, they're winning 2 or 3-0 away to Bournemouth. They're doing well. They're playing well in the Champions League, in the Premier League. Maybe this is what we needed going down there next week. A bit of a kick up the arse, and just we can't start games as poorly as we have done recently. We've been second half FC, and as I said, you can't rely on being second half FC. You got to hit the ground running from minute 1. They won 4-0. They won 4-0. There you go. So they're going to be coming into our game next Sunday feeling good, feeling hungry. And they'll have looked at our performance today and said, City are vulnerable. City are vulnerable for next Sunday. And we are. We are. If we come into next Sunday's game playing the way we did today, we don't win. I tell you, that's fact. We don't win. We have to raise it massively going to the Emirates next week. There has to be more control in the middle of the park. Kovacic, Foden, and Alvarez today did not control the middle of the park. And when we were in possession, we were wasteful. Go to Arsenal next week, your Odegaards, your Declan Rices, your Pardies, your whoever's. Maybe not Kai Havertz, but these kind of guys. They'll control the middle of the pitch. They'll dictate the flow of the play. So why not having Rodri so bad? Rodri's put us in shit. Rodri's left us in a shit situation. He has. He really, really has. But it's not, he can't be responsible for other players not stepping up and being good enough. Do you know what I mean? It's not Rodri's fault if players aren't performing to the standard they should be. We know how good this team is. We know how good these players are. So when they're not performing to the levels, you can't say, well, that's Rodri's fault. I agree with the principle. I agree that we would. The easy solution is, well, if Rodri was there, we play better. And I agree with that. But the fact of the matter is we don't have Rodri and other players aren't playing well enough. Right? Today. I think that makes sense. Too many players like Mateus Nunes today. I thought he was decent in the first half, but you know, he obviously got taken off at halftime. I thought he was decent in the first half, but he was subjected to mad abuse. Mad abuse. Every time he got on the ball, those Wolves fans. I said in the pre-match build-up stream that I felt he was going to get a sour reception or a poisonous reception. I didn't realize it would be like that. They abused him every time he got a kick on the ball. Luke says Foden needs to step up and be consistent. Foden was poor. Foden was poor. I love this team. I love these players. I love this manager. But I will always call out, when I'm talking about a game in isolation, I will always call out a poor performance and I'll always call out a good performance. So when we lose and players play badly, you just have to say it how it is sometimes. You know what I mean? Ake was poor. Kovacic was poor. Foden was poor. Doku, I felt for him. Like I said, I felt for Doku because he was trying things, but he's doubled and tripled up on. We didn't have any variability. There was no diversity. It was all just try one or two things, and if this doesn't work, who knows? Who knows? Can see why Pep wanted Paqueta. Riyad Mahrez. I mean, these are the kind of games where Mahrez would have done something. Paqueta might have done something. Listen, these are all ifs, buts, and maybes. Boo every single week. Doku is quality. Doku is, but It's tough for him when it's quite clear he's our only threatening outlet. He was our only threatening outlet. So it's easy for Wolves to just double and triple up on him. That's him cancelled out. Nobody else is going to do fuck all. Who was even playing on the right most of the game? Who was meant to be the right-sided attack? Who was it meant to be? Foden? Alvarez? Walker? I'm not sure. I couldn't make it out. Neto did own Ake badly. Very uncharacteristic of Nathan Ake, man. To get done like that. Neto's a really good player. Kyle Walker. Well, he offered nothing going forward. Neto did have Ake on toast. Foden was supposed to be there. Well, he wasn't. If Foden... Look, I rate Phil Foden really highly. I really, really do. I think he's such a gifted footballer. Technically, his vision, his everything. But if he really wants to be the midfielder that he was growing up and that he was always meant to grow into and Pep would love him to be, he needs to control games. Phil Foden needs to show for the ball, use his vision, pick out passes, unlock defenses. That is your role when you're known as a creative spark. You need to be able to unlock. You need to be able to just control things. You need to have a telepathic understanding with the striker, whoever it may be, Haaland, Alvarez. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't impose himself enough. He didn't impose himself enough today. Today was a game where Foden had to come out, grab it by the balls, literally, and say, this is my game. I'm controlling this midfield. I'm going to make sure we get chances. I'm going to set up goals. I'm going to get myself, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do that. He didn't do that. I'm not saying he can't and or he won't, but today he didn't do what he should be doing. He needs to properly impose himself. We all know you're a terrific footballer. All of us do. But you need to impose yourself. It's all down to not having Rodri. It's an easy cop-out to say it's all down to not having Rodri. I agree it's such a huge loss, and I agree with the principle. But other players, you can't... Rodri's not responsible for other players not imposing themselves in the game, other players not doing what they should be doing, other players not sticking to the game plan, other players not showing a bit of vision, a bit of diversity. Other players need to be able to control games. Or else we just turn into the Rodri team. So if Rodri's not available, City are fucked. We're much better than that. We're much better than just when Rodri's not around, City are fucked. We are. You don't win a treble with it just being, well, if Rodri's not there, you're fucked. I'm not a Kovacic hater either. I rate Kovacic. I do, but today he was poor. He was. In attack, in defense, he didn't break up. Look, we know Rodri is the best in the world at what he does. He is. But you can still do the fundamentals of being a number 6 to a high level. You can. Wolves were a counter-attacking team today. That's what they were set up to do. Neto, Cunha, and Hwang with pace, hit us on the counter, and put pressure on our defense. They did that. Kovacic has to be able to cover better. MJ Allner, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, with the super chat, he says, Foden didn't step up. He's proven Pep, Southgate right. He can't control the midfield. He also gave up and didn't show hunger. It'll punish the players by making them play for EDS till they beg to play for City. Look, I think Foden's a fantastic player, as I've said already, but today he was poor. I agree. He didn't impose himself today. I think I wouldn't go over the top on it. I think it has to be a learning curve for Phil Foden where he realizes you won't cut it in games like today. It's all fine when you're playing Forest at home or Bournemouth at home and we have all the ball and they're not really posing any threat against us and you can do what you want. But it's games where you're against a resilient attack or a resilient defense, I should say, who will pounce quickly on the counter. You need to be switched on as a midfielder. You have more responsibilities in the central role than you ever did out in the wing. MCFC Solo, need to scrap Walker right wing. Once Stones comes back, hopefully that's where we get the extra man and Foden or Silva can be more wide. I'm not sure I rate Kyle Walker doing this up and down the line thing. I really don't. John Stones will control. Like it's quite clear, chat. Today the issue was we didn't control it properly. We didn't control it properly. And we're missing our three biggest controllers in De Bruyne, Rodri, and Stones. They are the three main dominators and dictators of flow of play. Now, that's unfortunate that you don't have any of them. That's of course, that's annoying, and we can always pin that down and say, if we had them, we'd be better. But we don't have them. So what does that mean for the other players? Does that mean they can all say, well, the three main lads in controlling the play and our style of play aren't around, so we're all just fucked? No, you need players to stand up and control. And we didn't. Maybe Vardy today would have been a good option. He's a good passer of the ball. He's got an eye for breaking the line. I don't know. Ake wasn't doing it today, man. Chat. I don't want you to get me wrong here. I know I'm coming across very emotional and erratic because that's the way I am. I'm a very emotional person, especially when we lose. I let my emotions run raw. But it's just I trust Pep. Of course I do. Trust me. I trust the players. I trust Pep. I trust we'll have a successful season. But we definitely need to improve and identify the fact that you can't rely on certain individuals. We're a team. We're all erratic. That's what I'm saying, man. Not having Pep on the dugout definitely didn't help. It's one of those days, man, and I do fear next week. I do worry a bit about it because repeat performance, and we'll get done in the Emirates. We will. We'll get done in the Emirates. We will. Arsenal are hungry to beat us, to win that league. They haven't beaten us since, what, 2017, 2015, maybe in the league? They're hungry. I know nothing's lost today. We've lost no competition today. But we have to assess and be real about today's performance. I thought it was just not good enough. It just wasn't. You know? I mean, let me see, can I get any more stats or anything like that about it? Because it might paint a better picture for us. United lost, which kind of softens the blow a little bit. But stats, yeah. 6 corners. We're useless from corners. Player ratings. We do some player ratings, chat. Seeing as we lost, we may as well do some player ratings. Freddie's just messaging me as well, saying we'll do some player ratings. Right, we'll start with how many yellow cards did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it 5? Fucking hell. The ref today, I mean it. Awful, awful. Right, Ederson. I don't think Ederson is really at fault for either goal. The defense let him down. Give him a 6.8, 6.9. The whole team was poor. Kyle Walker thought he was poor. I give Kyle Walker a 5.9. Akanji. The whole defense fell asleep for the second goal, and that's hard to overlook because that was the killer. Akanji, 5.5. Diaz didn't look himself, but he's not playing with a very competent defense today. OG, but it's not his fault, like I said. Ederson wasn't the fault. Diaz, I'll give a 6. Ake, I'm going to give a 5 flat. I thought Ake was crap. Kovacic, poor as well. Give him a 4.9. Mateus Nunes, what do you even give him? Maybe a 5. Thought he was all right. Foden, non-existent. 4.5. Alvarez got the goal, but non-existent otherwise. 4.7. Doku, felt bad for him. I give Doku a 5.5. At least he was trying to do something. He was shown for the ball. And then Haaland, I have to give Haaland, like a 4.5, 5? Because he got nothing. He got virtually nothing. I'm not throwing a tantrum. I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram. But today was poor. Listen, before I say anything stupid, I'll wrap it up. Yeah, look, listen, we've won 6 out of the first 7 games this season. the Premier League's not lost today. By no means lost today. We're still on for a treble. We still have a Club World Cup to play for. We still have the best manager in the world. We'll learn. We will learn from today, no doubt. Something we know as City fans over the years is that when we don't play well, we always learn from it, and the players and the manager learn from it, and we take that into the next game. So once there's improvement against Leipzig, and we feel good going into Arsenal, I'll forget about today very quickly. A good performance against Leipzig, and I'll forget about this week very quickly. So listen, all is not lost, chat. All is not lost. We're still the best team in the world. We still are the best team in the world, no doubt. Best fans in the world, best community in the world. Today just wasn't it, man. Today just was one of those days. So listen, a dose of reality, maybe Dudley. Yeah, possibly. Maybe we're living in fairyland off the back of the treble, but could you blame us when you win a treble? Do you know what I mean? Listen, right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go get my dinner. I appreciate all of you coming in and listening to me rant there for about half an hour. I hope some of you share my frustrations, and we can do this together when days like this come along. So listen, still 200 in the building. If you do me a quick favor and just hit a like down below on the stream, massively helps us. All of your support, you guys are unbelievable. And subscribe if you're new around here. And big up to everybody who's super chatted. Let me call them out again. Harley with the member chat for 7 months. If you want to be an Xtra Club member, the link is down below. MJ Allnear between my thunder thighs. Big up you for the super chat, and MCFC Solo, of course, one of the OGs here. Big up every single one of you, man. And I'll see you all. We'll be back tomorrow with some more reaction for sure. I wanna dive into this more. Maybe I'll get on Daps or some guests, Jordy Porty too, and we'll dive into this more and what this means for us, because emotions are still running high. We'll bounce back, man. Trust this team. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I know I come across angry, which I am, but the main thing to do is not panic. We don't panic. City fans, we don't panic. There's no need to panic. We trust our process. We trust our mistakes. And we trust we'll learn. So listen, big up every single one of you every time. And I'll see you tomorrow.